Hi guys, welcome back. So today I thought it would be fun to do a try-on, a wear test, and review of a foundation that I'm sure most of you have heard of before, but it's new to me. It is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. Now, Walgreens started this week with their buy two, get one free special that they run on cosmetics. They kind of rotate through cosmetics, skincare. I want to say there's like a hair care one, but this week it is the buy two get one free for cosmetics. So this is the time where I like to go to Walgreens and try out foundations I've never tried before because I can get one for free. So today I'm going to be trying this out and we'll see what happens. Alright, so I put my hair up and I've put on my normal Tarte Clean Slate Primer and we'll get started. I'll be using a beauty blender with this. I want to do things as normal as possible because you don't want many variables when you're testing out a new foundation. So it's fairly thick. It looks about like that. We'll see how it goes. I have tried the L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation before and I like that one. I have usually normal to dry skin and that one is good, but it seems to start breaking up kind of in between my eyes after a few hours. So I'm wondering if maybe this one will be a little bit better. The color match on this seems pretty good. It's maybe a little bit light. I always have a hard time with drugstore foundations because I usually go for the lightest shade, which is very, very light, but then the next shade up is too pink, if that makes sense. I have more of a neutral undertone, and so unless I get one of the lightest colors available, I end up with an undertone that starts to look kind of weird on me. And I think when I set this with powder and throw a little bronzer on there, it'll look pretty darn good. Alright, so half of my face is done. I'm actually really liking the way the finish looks, especially on the side of my jaw. It looks very like porcelain doll. Now it says on the back here that the finish is a demi-matte. I would agree with that. It says it's up to 24-hour wear. I won't be wearing this for 24 hours, but we're going to see how long it takes before it starts to break down. And it does say it's medium coverage. Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. When I first grabbed the bottle, I thought it said full coverage, and I was about to tear it a new one because this is not full coverage. But medium coverage I would definitely agree with. So far the claims it's making on the back seem accurate. I might need a little bit more on this side. I didn't put quite as much on the second time as I did the first. It's not really doing anything to cover the dark circles under my eyes, but I didn't really expect it to. That usually only happens with a full coverage foundation. Alright, I think I'll need a little bit more for my forehead. It does say to shake it well. And I learned that the hard way. You should read the directions. When I first brought it home, I opened it and there was like a little dollop of just oil or whatever that came out of here. And it kind of got all over my hands. Then I read the back and it said shake well. I was like, oh, well, I should probably do that, huh? So if you're trying this foundation out, make sure you shake it really, really vigorously before you use it. All right. I think that looks pretty decent. Not too bad. The color's a little bit different from my neck. That could be partially because of the shadow from the ring light I'm using and partially because it is a little bit lighter. But I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and we'll see what happens. So far, love the finish. It says that it's a feather light texture, or air light texture, and I would agree with that. It feels pretty light. It's a little tacky still, so I think I'm going to set it with powder for sure. But so far, this is not bad. I think I like it. So I'm going to go put the rest of my face on, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so the rest of my face is done, and so far I have to say I'm really liking this. Let me see if I can zoom you guys in so you can see a little closer. That's what it looks like so far. Looks really, really nice. Very uniform. It's not patchy. I think the color turned out pretty good. So yeah, right now the time is 10:08 a.m. So I will check in a few hours and we'll see how this is wearing. Alright, so it's been about 4 hours. It's right around 2:30 right now. So let's check in on how this is doing. It has actually been pretty great. Let's zoom in a little bit. It's starting to crease a little on the sides of my nose, which is standard for me with foundation. And then it's getting a little bit of wear right in between my eyes, which is also pretty standard for me. But overall, it still feels really, really light. It feels really smooth. And when you're zoomed out, it actually looks really good. I'm happy with it so far. So I'll check in about another 4 hours and we'll see how it's wearing. Alright guys, here's the second update. It is about 6:30 right now, so I've had this on for a total of about 8 hours. It is wearing off in my T-zone, between my eyes kind of, and then on the sides of my nose, which like I said in the previous update, it's pretty normal for me regardless of the kind of foundation I'm using. I also noticed that I started getting pretty oily, like more oily than normal, on my nose and then on my cheeks right here, which almost never happens. So I'll zoom you guys in so you can get a little closer look here. So it's kind of started wearing away in this area. And then on the sides here you can see my nose is getting kind of blech. And between my eyes, seeing a lot of texture kind of popping up where there wasn't texture before when I put it on. Alright, so that's the final check-in. I'll let you guys know my final thoughts in just a few minutes. Alright guys, so final thoughts on the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I think, overall, it was pretty darn good. I am a little concerned at the kind of oiliness that I found on my cheeks and on my nose. However, I did make a pretty labor-intensive dinner this evening, and I'm thinking it's possible that being in a warm kitchen for an extended period of time may have had something to do with how oily my skin got. So I definitely am going to be testing this out later this week in some different conditions to see if it makes any kind of difference. But overall, from a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this foundation probably an 8. It's a drugstore foundation, so it's not very expensive. It wore well. It looks like it's worn pretty evenly overall. It did get a little patchy in some areas, but like I've mentioned before, those are areas I typically get patchy in. And yeah, the shade match held up pretty well, and I noticed it did not oxidize at all, which is a problem that I usually have with drugstore foundations when they come in the lightest shade. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this first impression and review of the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I'll be doing more foundation reviews and try-on tests in the future. If you guys like them, leave a comment down below to let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!